It's another beautiful day here in Minneapolis, and I am recording the Oskar Quentin Show, where people on TikTok Live call in and discuss politics with me. I feel like I need to make an announcement about the fact that I am just going to not probably engage too much with the Libertarians and the Communists and the Socialists going forward, because it's taken over the show. The fact that those groups of people are so very upset about the fact that I'm not more radical than I am. This is an American political debate show. I talk about American politicians. I talk about what's going on in the world here. I talk about pragmatic approaches to achieving the outcomes that we want for people in America. So, sorry guys, I really am more of a liberal than a leftist. I'm not trying to burn the system down. I am trying to get people to vote blue. So if that makes me a traitor to the cause, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Hello, Noodle. Noodle always needs to come say hi when she sees that I've gotten the show started, because she feels left out. But yeah, there's this whole thing about, liberals want to progressively adjust the system, and leftists want to burn it down and start over. And at the end of the day, I could get into a really nuanced philosophical conversation about the fact that I am a democratic socialist in the philosophical sense. I just don't think we're going to achieve socialism in the midterms. I think we're going to achieve it in 100 or 200 years when technology catches up to the point where capitalism becomes this really niche thing that we use for making movies and stuff. I don't know, big projects like that need to be funded some kind of capitalistic way, I think. Noodle, what are you barking about? There's nobody at the door. You tripping, girl? She shouldn't be excited. We already went for our run today. You should be taking a nap, girly. Yeah, I am a democratic socialist. I think that we're going to be in a socialist situation eventually, just not maybe in my lifetime at all. And I'm really concerned about what's going on with Trump. So I just think it's a wasted vote to be you need to be a Marxist in 2026. It's just, I don't know. D says, go join a group and make some friends. Why are you saying that? I'm parts of lots of groups. Lots of groups. I got lots of friends. I'm a musician. I go to bars and make friends and stuff. I have a whole life outside of this show. People don't seem to realize that. The show has become my job. It's my day job to run the show, which is awesome. It's incredible. Makes me feel very privileged that I get to do something I care about. Let the Wookiee In, who's a friend of the show, says, this is a group. Yeah, I've made some friends doing this. It's going great. I don't know. Maybe you're the one who needs some friends. I'm going to accuse you of projection. I think that you're the one who needs to go socialize more if you're sitting here declaring that I don't have a social life. I've actually gotten my social life back largely lately, and I have the donors to thank for that, because it was a month or two where I was really treating this I was treating this like a full-time job, even though I still had to work full-time to pay for my life. But now that show is profitable enough that I get to have my evenings back, and I get to, I still work my other jobs, but not nearly as much. So I feel I'm much better rested than I was a month ago. I know everybody was very worried about with how hard I was working. It has calmed down, and I'll talk about the job that I'm letting go of after I properly let go of it, but I still have some days on the calendar in June, so I'll talk about that after the fact. Do I accept foreign calls? Towards the end of the show, I accept calls from just about anybody. So after 11:30, which if you're foreign, you're probably is not this time zone. So in about 90 minutes, it's a 2-hour show, and for the last half hour, I'm pretty open to just chatting with whoever about whatever, unless I'm in a really busy call that's interesting, then maybe not. But yeah, I allow friendly time at the end. Let's get the multi-guest queue open. I always forget to open that up, but it does give me a pop-up if I get a caller. So this is a call-in show. If you want to talk about politics with me, I think I'm going to have to say no to the Libertarians and the Socialists for a little while. I've been, I review all the episodes to make the Instagram clips, and it's just too much airtime on this show has been spent not talking to Trump supporters. It's just not super useful to talk to people. Libertarians in particular, I saw a comment that it really resonated with me, which is that libertarians are like house cats, where they think that they're in control of their own domain, but they actually have no understanding or respect for the system that feeds them. And that's just perfect. Every libertarian that I've spoken to, it's the same thing, where it's how do you say that money is belongs to you when money is the scoring system that the capitalists came up with for you to participate in their system? You didn't invent the money. God didn't give you the money. Money wasn't sitting in nature for you to go find. It's a participatory coupon system for capitalism. So you saying that money is yours is just in principle wrong. Like, how am I? Joey's asking. I'm doing great, man. Like, the show's doing really well. Like I was just saying, it's profitable enough that I'm not slaving as hard to live anymore, which is great. I get to rest more, exercise more. Went for a run with my dog at 6 this morning. I've been up for 4 hours. I've had such a productive day. And then once the show's over at noon, I'm going to have to edit it. So I'll be busy until 2 or 3 o'clock. And then, then I'll get the clips up, and then I've got a whole Sunday evening to do whatever I want. Things are kind of awesome. Money's a concept, man. It's not real, man, says Let the Wookiee In. Sorry if I put the voice on it. That's kind of that's how I read it. Money. If you think you're entitled to money as a human, as the animals we are, I don't think you know how any of this shit works. You're like a cat that thinks they're entitled to the cat food because the guy brings it in the door once a week. It's crazy. Good morning, Raven. Good morning. Who else did I see? I saw another regular. It was Elvis Trump. Hello, Elvis. That might be my favorite username on here, Elvis Trump. If you think that Kamala Harris swindled me, please hit the request button on your screen. All right, we've got a default username in the queue, so I'm going to be ready to kick them for screaming the N-word because it is Sunday and the kids aren't in school, and that tends to be what happens. Hello, how old are you?
I'm 52. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 30.
You're 30. Wow.
Yes.
I thought I was 30 again.
Yeah, I wish I was 20 again. Thanks for the gifts, everybody. You a Trump supporter?
Well, I'm 52. Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Yeah,
ain't it strange that when you're younger, you wish you were older, than when you're older, you wish you were younger? Ain't that funny how that works?
I think I had enough wise older people around me when I was younger that when I was younger, I really tried to take it in. I don't think I had the period where I wished I was older. I think I had the amazing privilege of knowing that youth is wasted on the young, and I made some good memories. So sorry for not being able to commiserate with you on that, but I feel like, when I turned 30, I look back at my 20s and there's a lot of mistakes made and a lot of dark chapters and a lot of difficulties, but so far I'm living without too many regrets. I'm pretty happy with how it's gone. But
you are living with regret. You voted Kamala Harris, the worst candidate to ever run for president.
Okay, why do you think that she's the worst candidate ever to run for president?
Well, because she didn't have any policies. I mean, the only thing she did was run off the old man's policies that didn't work and they were failed and horrible.
His policies were working if we look at the economic indicators that show how people's lives are going in America.
How were they working when we had the highest inflation in 40 years?
Well, because there was a global pandemic, if you remember, and one of the things that we did to combat the effects of the global pandemic is we did some stimulus checks and some other social programs that saved people from becoming homeless or dying horrible deaths. That was kind of expensive, so we knew when we did those policies. Some of them were Trump, by the way.
So you admit we had the highest inflation in 40 years. I'm glad you did that. Thank you.
We also had the highest unemployment in the history of the time since we've been recording unemployment, which I think is from 1948, sometime right after World War II. That was during Trump's term. Is Trump responsible for the worst unemployment in American history?
I don't think that's accurate.
It is accurate. We had 15%. No, we had 15% unemployment during the last year of Trump's first term because it was during the pandemic. Is he responsible for that pandemic effect?
Well, yeah, he's responsible, but I don't think it was that high. It was that high, and you're saying that Biden was responsible for the inflation, and what Biden actually did is he got the inflation under control because we knew the inflation was going to be bad. At 8.3%.
Yeah, we knew when we were doing the things that saved the country from the pandemic that they were going to be expensive, and one of the effects of them longer term over the course of a couple of years instead of a couple of months. Excuse me, I was still talking. I need you to address the fact. Excuse me, I'm not going to proceed in the call until you recognize what I'm saying, which is that Biden and Trump both did some things to respond to the pandemic that were expensive and caused inflation. And Biden, during the rest of his term, got that inflation under control. Do you understand that is literally what happened?
I mean, I get it from your point of view. I mean, yeah, okay.
It's not my point of view. It's just what happened.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll take your word for it. How about that? I'll take your word for it.
I don't know. I mean, you can go look up the data yourself, but the fact of the matter is that we knew before the inflation happened that it was coming. It was announced, hey, everybody, inflation's going to be really bad because of these stimulus checks, because of these programs we're doing to save the world from the pandemic. It's going to be pricey. And then Biden spent his entire term passing policy. Kamala Harris did more tie-breaking votes in the Senate than anybody else as vice president to get those policies passed that saved us from that bad inflation.
Who was the voter czar?
and we got it under control. And now that Trump is president, the inflation is shooting back up because he's doing things that are bad for the economy. So I don't really understand your position.
But how did Kamala do good when she was the border czar and let in 2.5 million illegal immigrants into our country?
We're talking about inflation, not border policy. We can move on to border policy after we're done talking about inflation.
I mean, it's a point though, because she said she was a great candidate.
No, it's a pivot, is what it is, because we can talk about border policy, but we are currently talking about inflation, and you have not recognized that you understand what I'm talking about. Biden got the inflation that was caused by the way that we responded to the pandemic under control, and now Trump is making the inflation worse. You understand?
Trump trying to fix Biden's mistakes. Of course, I agree with that. Trump's trying to fix Biden's mistakes. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Good job. You are smart for a 20-year-old. Good job.
Do you know what a straw man argument is?
Explain it to me. Go ahead.
A straw man is when you mischaracterize somebody's argument and then either agree or disagree with it in a way that's unfair, and you know that you did that to me. You know what you did is dishonest and disingenuous. You know that that's not what I was saying. It absolutely
is.
Biden
gave us the highest inflation in 40 years.
Biden and Trump both did. That's not what I said. I said that.
What you just said.
That's not what I said.
You agreed with me that Biden had the highest inflation in 40 years.
If that's what you heard, I can correct what you heard, and everybody who's watching this can read. The recording goes up on YouTube, Snowflake. Everybody can hear what you said and what I said, and they can judge for themselves.
I'm going to be famous. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're going to be. Yeah, I know. It's so exciting to swim in my wake. Lots of people are trying to do it right now. But once again, that's a straw man for my argument, because what I said is that Trump and Biden both did things. Excuse me, I'm talking. I'm trying to correct what my argument is. Are you interested in hearing what my argument is, or are you just here to hear yourself talk? What I said is that Trump and Biden both did things. Trump in the last year of his first term, and Biden in the first year of his only term, both did things that responded to the pandemic in a way that caused, yes, record inflation rates, in recent American history inflation rates. I don't know exactly what the worst spike ever was. I think you might be right. There could be an example from like a really long time ago that I'm not aware of. Anyway, they both did things that made the inflation bad. Biden got that under control with his policies that he passed. We could talk about what some of those policies are. And now that Trump is president, his policies, which are obviously also bad for inflation, things like tariffing, things like going to war with Iran and increasing global fuel prices, these are things that are shooting the inflation rate back up to a very dangerous, unhealthy level. The projection for the end of the year is that we're going to be over 4%. That's very, very bad. That is my argument, not what you said.
Did you say 4%?
We're on the way. Pardon my dog barking. We're on the way for 4%. Noodle, come here.
So you just said, y'all hear that right? 290 people. You said it's going to be bad at 4%, correct? You said inflation is at 4%, correct? That's what you just said, right?
It's currently 3 point something. It's projected to be 4% by the end of the year.
Okay. And what was Biden at the end of his year? 8.3%.
Yes, it was worse it was worse as a result of the global pandemic, which we didn't have a choice about, and now it's bad because of the war in Iran, which we didn't have to do. Did Biden?
Always bad.
Let me ask you this question: who caused the pandemic? Whose fault is it?
Who caused? We've always been in a pandemic. When have we not been in a pandemic?
No, I'm not taking you seriously if that's how you answer the question. Is the pandemic somebody's fault?
Though. You can't deny it. You can't deny it.
I am denying that we have always been in a pandemic. That's ridiculous.
There's always a
virus. The pandemic was declared by the World Health Organization on March 13th, 2020.
You don't think the flu still exists?
No, we don't define.
There's always a virus going around. What are we talking about here?
The flu is what the epidemiologists call endemic, which means it has an annual cycle that is bad, but that's not what a pandemic is. We have a different word for it.
It's the same thing. It's just not.
It's not the same thing. No, it's not.
It's still is it a virus? It's a virus, ain't it?
Yes, but a virus doesn't make a pandemic.
Okay, so that makes it the same thing.
Dude, what are you, like, are you trying to look good in this call? Like, what are you doing? What is this?
I'm just trying to educate you, man. That's all I'm trying to do.
I don't think you're doing a very good job because you're
a virus when it is a virus, but it's
no, I think you're trying. I think you recognize that the pandemic was nobody's fault and that it was bad that it caused inflation and that the war in Iran is Trump's fault, and you're trying to get away from that line of questioning, but I'm not going to let that happen. Whose fault was the pandemic? Who started the COVID-19 pandemic?
I don't think anybody saw. I think
I agree with you. Yes, it's a possibility. It is a conspiracy theory. It is a possibility that there is somebody. Okay, dude, participate in the conversation. Exercise your manners, right?
Go ahead.
You're not doing a very good job listening at all. Just to be clear, I think we can say that the pandemic was not Biden's fault and it was not Trump's fault. It is just a thing that happened that both of them had to deal with as president. Is that accurate?
I agree with that. I can agree with that.
Okay, so that is what caused the inflation because we did some things.
I'm glad we came to the common ground.
I don't think we have much common ground. I'm glad we now agree that the pandemic wasn't caused by Biden or Trump or something like that. I'm glad we can agree on that. So what I'm saying is that both Trump and Biden did expensive things. Something I'm very happy that Trump did is Operation Warp Speed. That was very good, but it was also expensive, and that's one of the reasons that we had. Yes, it was expensive, and that's one of the reasons that we had higher inflation. Because when the government spends money like that,
we had inflation under Obama too when he went into Syria and did his drug strikes.
We're not talking about Obama. Keep it together, buddy. Focus. Focus up. Focus up. Obama retired 10 years ago, and we're talking about the inflation from the pandemic, and we're talking about the inflation now. Can you keep on that, or are you not capable of having a conversation?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so just so we understand, there was inflation that was a result of the things that both Biden and Trump did in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you accept that?
Yeah, in a way.
I mean, in a very direct way.
Okay, can we move on? This is getting boring now.
Okay, but no, now I'm going to talk about the fact that we are now in an inflation emergency that we don't see an end of because the current president, who's going to be president for about 3 more years, is doing things that are very...
2.5 more years. It's not 3 years, it's 2.5.
You know what? W guessed. You win. You're right. Instead of about 3 years, it's 2.5 years. A mathematician would round 2.5 years to 3 because we round up when it's 0.5. But you that was such a nuanced thing to point out about my argument. I don't think I can ever debate anybody again. I think my career's over.
I love the sarcasm. Keep it going.
I'm glad that you're able to detect the sarcasm. Most guests who are, who behave the way that you do can't really see it when I'm doing it.
I mean, if you can't detect sarcasm, if you can't detect sarcasm, then you got a problem.
Yeah, then there's hope for you. So maybe we can get back to the conversation and talk about the fact that there are about 3 more years in Trump's presidency.
Why did Biden allow Russia to go into Ukraine?
We're talking about inflation.
Inflation's boring. We don't ride that train for 100 miles.
No, I think you're made uncomfortable by how clearly I've demonstrated that you're wrong about the inflation issue, that you want to move on to something else, but I'm simply not going to let you until we get to the other half of this argument, which is about the inflation that's happening right now.
Well, we just come to the conclusion that
you called in and you brought up inflation, we are discussing inflation, and we are not going to move on until we understand exactly how it is we disagree, because I don't think we're going to agree.
It came from China. Okay, yep. Under the first term of Trump. Yep. Then it went into the Biden.
Yep, correct. Common ground so far.
Now we're covering from Biden because he had an 8.3 inflation rate under his administration. We're still recovering from that. So
he recovered. Well, that the causes of that were at the beginning of his term in the first year. So he actually got that under control. He fixed that. Trump is now making it worse. The inflation rate is going back up.
Wait a minute. The inflation rate was on 8.3% under the Biden administration. We're at 4% now. You're making no sense right now, little boy. You're making no sense.
Don't infantilize me. It's rude, and it makes you look bad in the conversation. So again, the pandemic was worse for...
It was bad, but under the Biden administration, it was 8.3% Now you're saying it's going to...
And whose fault was that? And whose fault was that? We already covered this. Whose fault was it, the inflation rate of 8%?
Whose fault was it?
Yeah.
Well, it was under the Trump administration, but the Trump administration didn't have an 8.3 inflation.
But we established that the things that we did that caused that inflation rate were things that Trump did in his last year and Biden did in his first year when the pandemic was really...
What raised it in the Biden administration was the Ukraine and Russia war.
That was a contributing factor, and we can talk about that separately. But the fact of the matter is that Biden ended his term with a better inflation rate, 2.3%, I think it was.
He ended it with an 8.3%. How did he end it with a better inflation rate?
That's false. No, that was the peak. That was the peak.
No, that was towards the end of his year.
Do we need to look it up? Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, hold on. Let's see.
But I got the video where he was toward the end of his presidency in a 60-minute interview talking about the 8.3 inflation rate. It's the highest inflation in 40 years.
Okay, so let's take a look at the inflation rate. Do you see this peak right here?
Yeah, I see that.
Can you read the year? I know it's kind of small. Can you see what year when that was?
Yeah, it was June of 2022.
All right. So, in what month did Biden end his first term as president?
Well, Biden only did one term.
In what month did Biden end his only term as president?
I think it was a year before. Well, what do you mean end? He didn't get to leave office until his presidency was up.
Yes. What month was that?
It was the day Trump got inaugurated.
Yeah, and I don't need the date. I just want to know what month and year that was.
You don't know what month and year that was?
I do know what month and year that was. I'm checking if you do. Because you clearly don't know, and I find that to be very, very funny, given that you claim to know what the inflation rate was at the end of Biden. January of what year? January of what?
I mean, it's pretty bad you didn't know that.
January of what year?
2025. You did not know that?
Yeah, I mean, I know you read it from the chat, but anyway, yes. So it was January of 2025. We're down here, according to this chart, it was 3%. So you see how there was this big, nasty peak caused by the pandemic, and Biden got it all the way down to here?
You know, I'm glad you can pull up any chart you want to. And that's a false
this
chart.
Is Biden's term. So right here,
that's a false chart, because I have a video where he's admitting he had the highest inflation in 40 years.
It's right. Yep. So that's over here in 2022, and then over here in 2025, it was 3%. Can you see what's on the screen where it's 3%?
Your agenda.
It's 3%.
That chart fits your agenda. Okay.
This chart is about what happened in reality. It does fit my agenda because it is the truth, and my agenda is to spread the truth. So here, true or false, the inflation rate was 3% at the end of Biden's term.
3%? No, it was 8.3%.
It was 8% here in 2022. Right here at the end of his term in 2025, in January of 2025, it was 3%. Can you see that? Are your eyes working? Can you read?
Okay. January of 2025. Okay, but Trump got in office January 20th of 2025. So that just goes so it dropped when Trump became elected, right?
Okay. The inflation rate as of April of 2026, which is last month, is 3.8.
Now you just jumped the whole year. It stays steady. After January, it stays steady down.
Well, so inflation...
It raised a little bit,
inflation, yes, inflation...
Then it went back down.
Inflation is a lagging indicator.
Inflation
is a lagging... I don't use the mute button. I don't use the mute button on my show. Excuse me, sir. 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 I don't use the mute button on my show. I have to talk over the guest in order to make you able to have a conversation. Are you able to listen and look at this graph and use your brain, or are you just going to obstinately declare that you're right about this when you're clearly not?
You're talking about an inflation rate that when Trump got in office, so of course the inflation rate is going to drop.
Let's review. In 2022, the inflation rate was very, very high because of the pandemic. The peak is up here. Can you see that? That's back in...
Yeah, then it dropped in 20, then it started going down in 2023.
All right, wait. And then, okay, let's move on to where it switched from Biden to Trump. So in January of 2025...
Then it dropped even more in 2025 when he became president.
Excuse me, we're almost there, buddy. I believe in you. I really think you can see the end of this. We're so close. It's 3% in January. We're so close. Okay, because there's three things I'm trying to show you. One of them is that, yes, it was very high in 2022 because of the things we discussed earlier. And then at the end of Biden's term, how low did he get it? Can you just answer that question for me?
Well, it dropped significantly low when Trump became president. That's obviously...
How low was the inflation rate at the end of Biden's term? That's the question. Can you read it? It's right here.
Nobody really knows because it dropped.
It's on the screen. It's right there.
That's when Trump got elected.
It says it right there.
I know, January. That's when Trump got elected.
Yes, that's the end of Biden's term. When Trump. So what's the number? What was the inflation?
We're still at 3%, like you said, right?
No, we're not. We're closer to 4% now. We're going to get there in a second. Answer the question. Answer the question. What was the inflation rate? Answer the question, sir. I need you to answer the question. What was the inflation rate at the end of Biden's term? It's right on the screen. January of 2025.
I just said
say it again. I didn't hear. If you heard it, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Please say it again. What was the inflation rate? 3%. Okay. 3%. Okay. So we know why it was very, very high over here because of the pandemic. So I want to ask you this question: what is it now?
I just said it was 3.8.
What is it now?
3%. So you're complaining about 8%? Are you serious? You're complaining about 8%.
You're complaining about 8%, which we established.
You're complaining about 8. It was 3.8. Woohoo! It's such a big increase. Oh my God.
That is huge. Given that there's not a pandemic happening, that is a huge increase. That's a big problem.
What are you talking about? Inflation goes up during war too. Don't you know that?
Yeah.
We're in a conflict.
Well, why did you bring up the fact that inflation rate goes up in war and then immediately say that we're not in war? Because you're right.
Because Congress had to declare war. I mean, we're not at war technically until Congress declares it. I mean, honestly, if you know.
Okay, how about this? How about this? I would argue that the reason that the inflation rate has gone up from 3 to 3.8% is because Trump is dropping.
The reason it went up was
Sir, excuse me. Are you capable of having a conversation at all?
I am having a conversation with you.
So do you think it's good that the inflation rate has gone up during Trump's term, 0.8%, even though we're not? 0.8%. 0.8% is really bad, yeah. There's no pandemic happening to explain that. There's no global supply chain issues to explain why that's happening.
You're complaining about 8%? Oh my God.
I am.
Everybody's going to starve to death because it went up 8%. Woohoo!
It went up 0.8%, and that's... Dude.
I mean, it was 8.3%.
All right. It's Civics time. I got to just check. I got to check. Here, can you answer a question for me?
What? Go ahead.
What are the 3 branches of the government?
What? Judicial? Oh, God.
Judicial, okay. Judicial. Federal.
And Supreme Court. Oh, wait, not
no. So the judicial branch is the Supreme Court. So 2 of your answers were the same, and you mispronounced it the first time. It's the judicial branch. Federal is all of it. That's the whole government. And then there's the legislative branch and the executive branch. Those are the 3 branches of the government.
Thank you. I had a brain fart. Thank you so much.
I don't think you had a brain fart. I think you're like this all the time.
Thank you so much.
You got to work real hard to convince me you're not like this all the time.
I had to play dumb.
Dude, you've given me plenty. Stop trying to save face. So my question for you is, how can you claim to understand any of this if you don't know how the government works?
I know how the government works. You just don't like what I'm telling you.
Which branch does the president work at?
What?
Which of those 3 branches does the president work at?
Oh, name them again so I can see if you know them. Which one is it?
Well, you said that you only had a brain fart and you do know them, so I'm actually going to hang you out to dry and just insist that you tell me which of the 3 branches the president works at. I think it's really important, and I think you need to demonstrate to me that you know how the government works. So which branch of the government...
I just explained to you how the government works.
So if you know how the government works, please tell me which branch the president works at.
Why are you diverting?
Because my guest doesn't know how the government works, and I think that's more important.
I do know how the government works.
Then which branch does the president work at?
That's not irrelevant. That has nothing to do with what
It's not irrelevant. That's correct. It's very relevant. Which branch of the government does the president work at?
The judicial.
That's false. Try again.
You're wrong.
I am not wrong. The president does not work in the judicial branch. That's not true.
Oh, you're so funny.
Yeah, I mean, people think I'm pretty entertaining. They think I put on a good show. So, again, which branch of the government does the president work at?
What is it? The executive branch?
Yeah, you got it right.
I told you I knew. Look at that.
Well, you didn't, because you got it wrong.
Yeah, I did know. I did know. I'm trolling you. I'm trolling you, fool. Don't you know that?
Are you? Is the whole call a troll? Is that how you're going to save face? Because you don't know what you're talking about?
Executive branch. I'm sorry, you didn't know that. You literally had to ask me. You didn't know.
Yeah.
That's
people can.
bad.
Yeah. People can go watch my content and check if I knew that before you called. But you can just like you can do whatever you can do whatever protects your precious little feelings and declare that I didn't know that, even though I just demonstrated to the audience that you don't know that.
You had to ask. You didn't know that. You had to ask.
Who's a politician that you don't like?
Oh, there's a lot of them.
A currently seated politician that you don't like.
AOC.
What branch does she work in?
I don't know. Don't care.
Then how do you know if she's doing a good or bad job if you don't know what her job is?
Well, when you incite violence, I don't like it at all.
I'm sorry, does AOC incite violence?
Oh, yeah, she did. She was on television talking about New York needs to roll up in Mississippi, Tennessee, and all them.
I think that she was talking about protesters needing to show up peacefully and exercise their First Amendment right.
No. She said attack. Watch the video.
I'm going to give you a few moments to try to convince me that this call is worth continuing, given that you are mad at AOC about how she's performing in her role as
she's doing horrible. I mean, but you know what she was before she got.
But you don't understand what her job is because you don't understand how the government works.
She was a dummy bartender.
Okay,
you know
so
that?
once again, you don't know which branch of the government she works in. You don't know the rules of the game she's playing. How can you be so upset about what she's doing?
She's inciting violence. That can upset anybody, wouldn't it?
I'm going to need you to give me a source on exactly what she said. If you want to read a quote that she said.
Put it up on YouTube.
What?
Pull it up on YouTube.
No, I'm going to ask that you bring that, and if you want to provide a title of a YouTube video, you can call back in later.
You don't want to look it up?
Nope, the burden's on you to prove that she incited violence, because because it's a waste of the time on my show to look up random shit that somebody who doesn't understand. I'm answering that question, and you're interrupting me. It's a waste of my time to look at the things that have. It is my opinion, and it is my show, so I get to use my opinion to determine how I'm going to run the show. And it is my opinion that it is not. You're going to leave and go do it. Like, is that what you're going to do? Like, because I am just going to kick you if you go teacupped to go look at it. You can come back on later if you want to go do your homework. Maybe read up on what the three branches of the government are. Read up on what AOC's job is. If you want to do that, we can have a conversation about it. Is that what's going to happen next? He's muted. I don't know why he's muted. I guess he's using a different device.
Hang on one second.
I'm not going to hang on for 1 second. There's 500 people watching. It's Sunday. It's a busy show on Sunday. I'm not going to let people sit here and fucking wait for you to Google it. Do you want to come back later with your homework done? Do you want to come back later a little bit better prepared? I won't call it running if you want to leave and come back prepared.
What are you talking about? I had to use the bathroom. Did you want to hear me using the bathroom?
That's not what you said. You said you were leaving to go do homework. Are you going to go do homework?
No, I didn't say that. I said I had to use the bathroom. You didn't hear me.
All right. So what's happening next in the call?
What do you mean what's happening next in the call?
Right now. What's the topic? What are we talking about? Where are we going?
I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about. You tell me. Since I'm crushing you and everything.
Oh, yeah. Totally crushed. I've been so defeated. Yeah. W guessed. Okay. You wanted to talk about the war in Ukraine. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, let's talk about the border, shall we? Why did Kamala Harris allow 2.5 million people in the country?
She didn't.
Yes, she did. She was the border czar.
Okay. Does the sheriff of a town allow every crime that happens in that town to happen? Is every crime that happens his fault?
Well, no. It's not his fault.
Oh, but he's in charge of the... Wait, whoa. But the sheriff...
You admitted that she did? Thank you. You admitted that she did. You just admitted it.
I admit that the illegal immigration happened.
You admitted that she allowed 2.5 million illegal immigrants to come into this country. That's what you just admitted. Thank you.
I admit that happened while she was border czar, and I brought up an example, which is that crime still happens when there's a sheriff. Is every crime that happens the fault of the sheriff? You answered that question and said no.
A crime that happens in the United States and a crime that happens in a misdemeanor coming across the border is two different things. Okay,
Miss V, you absolutely can pay me to kick this guest if you want. I'll keep an eye on the Venmo. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've demonstrated that this guest is
the Democratic Party
is the way he is
for this country.
So once again, if it's not the sheriff's fault, every crime that happens while they're sheriff, how is it the border czar's fault?
It's not the sheriff's fault. No, it's the individual's fault because they don't know how to follow the law.
Okay, so it sounds to me like it's the illegal immigrants' fault for not following the law and not the border czar's fault.
It is the border czar's fault because she allowed.
How is it the border czar's fault but not the sheriff's fault?
What do you mean it's not the sheriff's fault?
Well, you said that it's not the sheriff's fault every crime that happens in their jurisdiction.
Oh, I misspoke. It is the sheriff's fault.
Okay,
the sheriff can't stop every crime.
So should we? Right. So they can't stop every crime. So
they can't stop every crime.
We probably shouldn't hold sheriffs responsible for every crime that happens in their jurisdiction.
Correct.
Okay. So we probably shouldn't hold the border czar responsible.
Explain this to me then. Why she let in 2.5 million people?
She didn't.
We don't have 2.5 million.
She didn't
crimes.
allow it.
She didn't allow it. She didn't even. She only went to the border once. She didn't even close the border.
Do you think it's her job to get a gun and go patrol the border?
When you're called the border czar, absolutely. When you're entitled, when the Biden gives you the job title of the border czar, you're supposed to protect the border like it's your own home.
Okay, so is every border czar ever belong in prison because there's been illegal immigration during every presidency?
Do I not say that again?
Is every border czar responsible for all of the illegal immigration that happened during their term? Do they all belong in jail? Because there's illegal immigration that happens under all of them.
Well, I don't know if they should necessarily be in jail.
Also, the chat is correcting you that she was not the border czar, that's a made-up title.
Look it up.
I'm not gonna, dude. I think you can bring me some proof if you want.
I can't do that right now. I'm live with you, and I would have to go in teacup mode, and then if I go in keep up mode too long, you'll kick me.
Thank you, Miss V, for getting this guest kicked. Goodbye. $25 from Miss V in the chat. Thank you so much for kicking that guest. I really appreciate that. I'm also going to extend my thanks to Alex, who sent a not during the stream donation of $25 and said, "Fighting the good fight and giving me techniques to dispatch infuriating debating arguments. That is largely what I'm doing. I'm trying to get the public educated on how to do this. I'll give myself the quick commercial, which is that you can go to the link tree in my bio and follow me on the other platforms if you want to support me. That doesn't cost a dime, and it helps me a lot. If you have a dime you want to spare, you can send it to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon, and that'll make it so that I will feel less silly about quitting my job, because I'm literally quitting my job to run this show. Please help me pay my rent. Anyway, that's the commercial. We're going to talk to Lil Pabs, Lilpabzz, and we're going to see if they know what the three branches of the government are. Well, maybe it'll be obvious. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Do you support Trump?
Nah, fuck Trump.
Based, I guess. We're going to talk to Paige Panther 666 or 663. Paige Panther 663. Hopefully this will be a Trump supporter who knows how to have a conversation. That would be exciting. That would be a change of pace for today. Anyway, W guest. Yeah, let's get some W guests in the chat. Let's get some W for Miss V. Miss V Marie intelligently. She's in the chat. Hello, how old are you?
I don't know your favorite time.
I know, right?
Hello.
I don't know it.
Hello. Hello. You're live on the air.
Well, like, is there one that's like
Paige.
I don't know. It used to be $1.99, $2.40.
Okay, I don't think Paige knew that she was in the queue. We're gonna talk to T-Dub. I'm gonna see if T-Dub is gonna be good. No. Yes, there we go. Connected. How old are you?
Hello, I'm 29.
29. Do you support Trump?
I do not.
I am gonna boot you because I'm looking for a debate. We're gonna talk to Nate. I'm gonna see if Nate is a Trump supporter. Hello, how old are you?
30.
30. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Why on earth?
He's a good president.
I don't think he is a good president. Why do you think he's a good president? Oh, he left. Charlie Brown fell for my trap. He said, LMAO, man, this man thinks he's on the radio. Yeah, I said that to rage bait you to engage with my live stream by typing that comment. It worked. Anyway, nobody in the queue, so I'm just going to talk to the chat for a moment. David says, because when you're in a cult, you must defend your master. That's why he thinks he's a good president. Yeah, right? I mean, at this point, we're just, hey, quit spamming it, though, David. I already read it. You're going to get silenced by the mods if you keep spamming. Yeah, I mean, we're at a point where it just doesn't matter. Somebody put judicial, federal, and Supreme Court. I need to make a T-shirt that says that. That might be the wrongest I've ever had somebody be on the three branches. We're gonna talk to Wangaf Crusader, Wanghaf Crusader. Ooh, sounds like a buddy of Jake Lang's. How old are you?
21.
You support Trump?
To an extent.
Do you want him to stay president?
Him to stay president.
Sorry,
it depends on if he continues to. It depends on if he continues to decline in mental function. He's kind of old, so.
Do you think he's going to improve? Do you think he's going to improve in mental function?
I mean, it's not going to improve, but he might just stabilize more.
All right, we've gotten rid of. Yeah, I was going to say, do you think it's going to stay the same, or do you think it's maybe going to keep getting worse?
It might stay the same, and it might get worse. If it gets worse, I think Vance should take over.
Okay, so here's my problem with that, is that, you're right. We can have some common ground that Trump's mental acuity is really ailing, and that's true whether or not you like the guy. He's just old, and his brains are clearly turning to mush. My problem with the idea of getting him out just because he's too old and then bringing Vance in is that Vance will then become president in an America where he is allowed to do horribly unconstitutional things because Trump was allowed to do horribly unconstitutional things. So I do think it's important that we go after Trump for reasons more than just his mental acuity.
Vance is also Trump without the baggage, so there's that.
Yeah, I would like for you to answer what I just said. Do you remember what I just said a moment ago? Do you need me to repeat it?
Yeah, and once again, I could care less about that. I think that Trump's doing a good job. If you could care less about that, then that's the topic, because I care greatly about that, and I think you should too. But I don't feel like I have your full attention. You playing video games? No.
What are you doing that's taking up your attention?
Nothing.
Okay, I just don't feel like I fully have you, so forgive me for making that assumption. I'll recant it. But again, I think it's a really big
you
problem.
Have my attention. My signal keeps cutting in and out.
Oh, okay. That I can forgive. We'll try to work with what we got. But again, I think it's a really big deal that Trump doesn't follow the Constitution, and you said you don't care all that much about that. I think that's a problem.
Well, there's certain amendments that I could care less about. For instance, the birthright citizenship poll and that rewritten where it actually says it only applies to American citizens who have American citizens for parents, because there's a huge loophole for people to get citizenship that come here illegally just by having kids here.
Okay, so do you think it's acceptable for the president to change the Constitution?
What? You just cut out like every...
I am gonna kick you just for signal. Please feel free to try again later, because I don't have a problem. I'm not gonna fault a guest for not having a good enough signal to have the conversation. But even the delay was a lot to work with. Well, and we can check if it'll be better if he comes right back in, because he did just appear in the queue again. So we'll try again. But the fact that it's taking this long to connect already. All right, hey, I'm just gonna say the word echo, and then I want you to say the word echo back as fast as you can. Echo. Yeah, the delay's really, really long. I need you to get on some Wi-Fi or just get on some better service if you're going to be on the show, because it's very, very impossible for the listeners. We're going to talk to Thomas Tulley 3. Going to see if he's a Trump supporter. Hello.
How's my service?
Dude, you sound, you jumped right in and you sound good and clear. How old are you? Uh-oh, maybe not. How old are you? Hello? Are you still there? You sounded 47. So good. 42? Did I hear that right?
47.
47. Okay, I am going to give you the echo test because I think we have a delay. I'm just going to say the word echo, and then I want you to say it back as quickly as you can. Echo.
Echo, echo, echo.
I think your connection's good enough, but we have a delay, but it can be fixed by me kicking you and then you coming right back. If I kick you, will you come right back?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we're gonna see if we get Thomas right back. The chat is filling up and emptying real fast today. I know there's a lot of kids out of school who are just jumping through all the lives. While we're waiting for him, I will say go to the link tree in my bio and send me some donations so I feel better about quitting my job, because yes, I'm quitting my job, but I'm not going to talk about that until after I have my last day at the beginning of June. Anyway, let's see if we got a better echo test this time. All right, Thomas, echo.
Echo, echo.
That's better. I'm gonna allow that. You're a Trump supporter?
Yep.
Why?
Because he's actually has a plan.
For what?
Spending, closing the border, creating jobs. That's probably number one, creating jobs.
What's his plan for closing the border?
What's his plan for closing the border? Well, he's already closed the border.
How? What policy?
Yeah. In and stay, whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called, the policy. But everything, the rebuilding of the wall.
I don't think he is rebuilding the wall.
A lot of it is just a lot of it is just green light, red light. So you got a president that wants to seal the border. Makes it very clear.
No, but I'm not understanding. He's not rebuilding the wall. That's not happening. And there is no border policy that he's passed. So I don't understand what you think his plan for the border is.
Well, let's just put it this way. When Biden got in, do you know what his first executive order was?
So just really quick before we move on to Biden. No, there is no border policy under Trump. Is that what you're saying? Or is that what you're admitting? Because I happen to know that to be the case.
No, that's not what I'm saying. So I mean, this is a stupid little conversation. If you're that petty to try to pretend and
I mean, you called in and said that you're here for his Trump, or you're for Trump because of his border policy, and I asked you what the border policy is, and you can't present one. I mean, I don't think that's small. I think that's a big topic. That should be important to you. It's the thing that you brought up when you came on the show.
You're pretending. you're pretending that the border's not sealed. You're pretending that Joe Biden didn't open the border. And when I started to give you real hard facts.
Okay, I'll let you pivot on to Biden. What did Biden do that? What did Biden do that opened the border?
He wrote 5 executive orders within just hours of his presidency, January 21st. 2021.
Changed some asylum policy, yes. But
you know what his very first executive order was?
I don't know off the top of my head which was first. No,
it was to defund the border wall. Look it up.
Yeah, because the wall is not an effective way of closing the border, and it's very expensive. Doesn't help Americans. So I agree with that. But
you're a border wall expert. I forgot. You're an expert at everything. Can you elaborate? Why?
Wait, hold on. Just to check. Are you a border wall expert?
Well, the experts say it does work. The actual people down there say it does work. It's a liberal talking point to say that walls don't work. Yeah.
Oh,
because one person. So what happens is, this is the liberal mind.
Just to be clear. No, I'm not. No, I asked a question and I wanted. And you're gonna run. You're gonna hit the run button. Are you gonna? Oh, okay. So he ran. That's it. Queue's empty. Defeated them all. They're all gone. Man, I wish he stayed and crashed out. Yeah, because I mean, I just wanted to check because he said I wasn't a border expert or border wall expert, and then he said that he wasn't a border wall expert, and because neither of us are border wall experts, I just wanted to understand why he thought it mattered that I'm not a border wall expert. But usually it's not the case with nearly 500 people watching. But I am gonna have to start being snappy and insist that all 485 of you get double tapping away on the screen so that we can talk to Adams. Look how quickly that worked. We got a caller right away. Thanks everybody for double tapping away on the screen. Gets more viewers in here. Gets new people who haven't talked to me before. ATOM Adams. False alarm. We didn't get him. So everybody stay double tapping away on the screen. Tell me, put stuff in the chat about how much you hate me or how much the guest won or whatever stuff will trick the new MAGA that joined the stream to thinking, oh my God, this host doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to totally crush him. Because guys, everybody, we have to pretend that I'm incompetent to get them to call in. So everybody put in the chat like, oh my God, that guest totally destroyed the host. The host doesn't know what he's talking about. Host is clueless. Like, we just put like a bunch of stuff. Be nice. Don't use any bullying language so we don't want to get flagged. We just want the people who just joined to think that I have no idea what I'm talking about. So they call in. Come on, here, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Here, come on. W guest, yeah. L host. There we go. But it worked. Oh no, it didn't work. That's Thomas Tulley, who's hopefully back with better cell service because I'm not going to blame him for having bad cell service. Hello,
so
Echo?
If you can have a conversation, I can stay up here and I can finish my point. And you can
this is you again.
Point.
This is the guy I was just talking to about whether or not we were both border experts, right? Hello?
Yes. And I gave you hard facts that you...
Okay, wait. So I just want to have a... I just want to understand.
I don't want to have a 20-minute conversation.
You said that it doesn't have to be a 20-minute conversation. We just have to finish it, and then we can move on. So you said that I'm not a border wall expert. You're right. I'm not.
You can just finish it with saying that the left is for open borders and the right is for closed
No, I don't think that's right at all.
Stop playing that game.
No, I don't think that's right at all.
Walk it back now.
No, I don't think that's right though. I'm not walking anything back. It's just I just don't think what you said is right.
Now Okay, this is where you've lost all credibility, and there's no point in having a conversation.
Oh, dang, my precious credibility. This guest took it away from me. I must retire now. Make your point, dude.
Not you. Your entire party has no credibility. See, when you sit there and you fight the border and you try to open the border and you make every move to open the border.
Check it out, everybody. I'm going to fight the border. I'm going to fight. What are you talking about, dude? What do you mean? I don't think you understand my positions.
That's because you're playing dumb. Your position is to.
I'm being entertaining on purpose. I don't think I look dumb right now, though. That's up for the audience to judge.
You shouldn't quit your job. Trust me.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Bank account disagrees, but
I think you guys are on your way out. I think after the midterms, I think this is a dying breed. Hopefully, we don't have to listen.
Dying breed, definitely not. It's dangerous and suspicious sounding language about how you feel about the opposition. Tell me more about how you think the opposition is a dying breed.
Okay, Charlie Kirk and abortionist.
What?
Anyways, yeah. So you guys really just need to come to terms with you've been open borders for I don't know.
You still haven't demonstrated that to me. I don't know what it means. Who opened the border?
Well,
Where's the door?
We
need there to be a wall for there to be a door in it for us to open.
That's what you guys do. So you guys run on stupid policy, and then you deny that you ran on it.
I'm just asking you to explain it to me so that me and my audience can understand. What exactly do you mean?
I don't want to have a 20-minute conversation of you denying that you guys opened the border. We already have the facts.
Then explain it to me. You got to show it. What do you mean? But what does it mean to open the border?
I already gave you the facts that you need, dude. Biden.
But no, how you said that the wall would make the border. Yeah, the wall was never built, so it's been open the whole time, right? If you're going to go,
called gaslighting, and you're evading the topic, which is you guys opened the border and we try to close the border, and that
when was it closed? You have to open the border. It has to be closed. When was it closed?
So this is the game that you'll play. It's very manipulative, right?
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
See, this is why we end up in a 20-minute disingenuous conversation with a disingenuous
true or false? Let's get some basic definitions out. To open something, it has to first be closed. Would you agree to that generally?
You're just playing a game. This is just this is just.
It's not a game, dude. It's basic reasoning. If to open something, it has to be closed, right? Like if I open a store, the store has to be closed before it's open.
And this is why your channel gets boring. This is why you can't get anyone.
It's not boring at all. There's 500 people who want to hear your answer to the question.
It's not fun. It's not fun. Nor is it
very fun. I'm having so much fun.
In bad faith. You're a bad faith debater.
Just tell me when the border was open or was closed, so I can understand how it was opened.
Buddy, I can't have a 20-minute conversation with you about the border because your side has been wanting to open the border. Your side opens the border, dude.
I am gonna keep. I do this thing on my show where I insist that my questions get answered, so I am gonna keep talking over you until you. Let's just not talk about the border for just 1 second. Just so you. I want to make sure that you know how to speak English. To open something, it has to be closed first, right?
That is a game that you're playing, a petty little game that you're playing.
Understanding words?
Accountability.
You think that understanding words is a petty little game? I'm trying to understand what you mean by the word open.
You're gaslighting, sir.
I'm trying to understand your position. True or false? Something needs to be closed in order for you to.
Once in your fucking life, have a good faith debate. Concede to the fact that your dumbasses opened the border.
Oh, name calling. I can hear your blood pressure, buddy.
How does it be open if it was never closed? I mean, what a dumb question.
That's not a dumb question. It's a question that really gets to what your position is.
Of your party is open borders. Open borders. See,
you can keep saying that, but we don't even agree about what the word open means. How can we have a conversation unless we agree on what the word open means?
You're manipulative. You're playing dumb. Everyone can see it. That's why your show's boring. You're boring, dude.
Okay, so boring. Everybody in the chat, tell me how boring I am. I don't care. It's not about me. It's about the definition of the word open. What is the definition of the word open?
Let's just finalize the border talk with this.
No. We can't talk about the border because you and I don't agree on what the word open means. How can we talk about the open border? I don't get it.
See, you guys sit here and gaslight all day when you open the border.
True or false, something has to be closed for you to open it. We can't discuss this at all until we agree on some basic definitions.
This is what a child does. Your party
try to understand words
for a decade. Your party's been trying to bring in immigrants for a decade.
Okay,
buddy, all people are legal, buddy.
I need you to demonstrate. I need you to demonstrate to me that you understand what the word "open" means, so we can talk about if the Democrats opened it.
That's a petty, manipulative, little childish.
Dude, why did you even come back if this is what you were going to do?
Guess what? I don't have those. I just go away. If you can't have an adult.
Yeah, if you want to have an adult conversation,
border. Any way you want to fucking word it,
we can't word it that way if we don't disagree. If we don't agree about what the word "open" means.
Executive order.
I'm not gonna let you out of it.
You hit a big green light, right?
Does something have to be closed first for it to be opened? True or false? Yes or no?
Again, I'm not going to have your childish, narcissistic conversation. It's boring.
You're not going to have a childish and narcissistic conversation, dude. You gotta behave differently because you are having a childish and narcissistic conversation. That's exactly what you're doing.
Worded correctly and have a petty conversation before we admit that your fucking party opened the border. What do you mean it was never open? It was never closed to be open. This is a good way to manipulate. Come on, guys, give me a gift. Wasn't that a good way to manipulate, guys?
How can we have a conversation if we don't agree with the word "open" means? I'm really
good at manipulating.
You're calling me childish.
Have some good faith.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what you mean by the word open when you say that the border was opened by Biden. I don't get it at all.
So to sit here and discuss the border and not say that it's, what way do you want to word it?
Actually, you know what? Here. I'm going to appease you. I'm going to appease you, and I'm going to ask you a different question. I'm going to. Hey, shush! Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. I'm going to ask a different question.
Illegal immigrants here.
Excuse me, sir. No, I'm going to ask a different question.
Nobody's illegal.
Excuse me, sir.
Nobody's illegal,
Excuse me,
right?
sir.
Another one?
Hello. Excuse me. I'm going to ask a different question, which is actually even more rudimentary than my first question because you're refusing to answer my very rudimentary question. My question is, do you think it's important that you and I agree on the definitions of the words that we're using in this adult conversation we're trying to have?
No, I think it's a petty conversation that takes us off track.
You don't think it's important
your stupid-ass party, your dumbass party is so pathetic that you have to play word games right now.
I just want to understand what you mean when you say that something is open. Thanks for the gifts, everybody.
Fucking pathetic and sad. It's a sad state of affairs, buddy.
I'm just trying to understand your
fucking side. You know, it's funny. Some of you have walked back. Some of the Democrats have said, I think that we've made a mistake on the border. Some will do that. And then there's other people who say, no, open border.
We could talk about some of that if you agreed to define the word open.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I would love to talk about that stuff with you.
It has to be closed to be opened again.
I think it does, yeah.
Closed off.
I do think that.
I'm going to pretend.
That's not a straw man. I actually believe that. I do believe something has to be closed for it to be open.
You don't believe it. You're disingenuous. You're a liar. You're quitting.
I'm asking you if you believe it. I'm asking you if you believe it. Do you believe that something has to be closed in order to be open?
Instead of going to work and a job, you would rather sit up on a fucking channel and lie. That's pathetic.
Yes, I would so much rather talk to you than go slave. This is my job. You are making my job more successful by being here. This is exactly the sort of call I hope for. You look so bad. I'm sitting here thinking this call is so good for my career. Thank you so much for calling into my show and demonstrating that in order to support Trump, you have to be unwilling to define basic words.
Dog out. Go take your dog out.
I already went for a run with my dog this morning. She's tired. Where is she?
Do something productive today.
Where'd she go? Oh yeah, she's just chilling on the bed.
Dude.
I don't know.
Of denying everything. Okay.
W Noodle, my dog Noodle. Hey Noodle. I know. Yeah, I know the guy on the phone is very silly and he doesn't know how to speak English because he won't define the word open. Anyway, so can we agree that you need to define the words that you use in an important conversation, in a difficult conversation?
Dude, you're trying to make your new job manipulating and wasting your time with dumb conversations.
Dude, I think
stupid.
But
stupidity pays because your party is stupid and they pay for stupidity and you know that and that's why you're quitting your job. They pay you.
Thanks for the money gun. Thanks for all the gifts, everyone.
Deny facts. It's hilarious.
I don't know, dude. They're literally giving me money right now to demonstrate to you that they actually approve of how I'm handling this conversation. And I just really want you to answer the question.
Of course they do. They're disingenuous, bad people. They're the people that need to be shipped out of the country. Get the fuck out of here.
You think that my audience should be deported?
Absolutely.
Why?
You should all go to an island. Hopefully that's what happens. Hopefully,
do you think that we should deport citizens for doing things you don't like? Never mind my previous questions. This is a more important question. You think that people should be deported for saying and doing things with their money that you don't like?
People that are a danger. I think people that quit their job to become liars and manipulators need to be shipped the fuck out of the country.
What lies have I told? We could discuss it if you agreed on words.
You are a manipulator. What a difference.
Please demonstrate that to me. You have the floor.
You're lying that you from the board. You're lying that you guys were. You want to have a 20-minute. Everybody knows it. Everybody fucking knows it. Okay. You want to quit your job to lie about that?
To lie about what?
Why don't you skip that? Why don't you?
What lie did I tell?
You just concede to the facts. Why don't you try to concede to the facts?
Just tell me if something has to be closed in order for you to open it. Because we're talking about the border, and I want to have a discussion, but I don't think we agree.
I can sit there and have that petty argument that it's very simple, and you'll with a because
I just don't understand
this argument. You'll just get dumber. So here, I'll try for one time. Did President Trump...
To answer the chat, yeah, I'll kick him if somebody sends me a galaxy. Sure, we can do that.
So that's what I thought. Talk to the chat. That's what I
don't know, dude. You're not able to have the conversation.
I could crush you. I could crush you in 30 seconds. Is it true? It has to be.
I'm giving you the opportunity. Please do it.
Okay,
please.
We'll go with your fucking...
You're too mad for your cell service, dude. You got that Trump Mobile.
Donald Trump funded the border wall, right? He funded
there's the galaxy. Thank goodness for rescuing me from Thomas. Okay, Thomas doesn't know what the word open means. That's fantastic. I don't even need to give myself the commercial because you guys are lighting it up with the gifts today, so thanks so much for that. We're going to talk to Blake Forrester, who hopefully knows how to speak English. That would be an improvement over how today has gone so far. Ooh, background noise. I'm not going to be mad that you have a baby around you. That's, you got to care for your kids. But
sorry about that.
No big deal. Just try to watch it. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 27.
27. Do you support Trump?
I voted for Trump.
Okay.
I will answer that question in that way.
Well, okay. Then my follow-up question is always the same, which is that do you want him to get impeached? Do you think he should stay in office?
I don't think he's fit to be the president anymore.
Okay. Do you think the issue is his mental acuity or what he's doing, his policies, what he wants?
I think he's trying to make a legacy for himself and is doing whatever he can to do that. Fuck everybody else. It doesn't matter.
Right. Okay. I agree with that. I mean, I would adjust it to say that while he cares about his family and he wants his sons to not get audited by the IRS ever again and stuff like that, I do think he mostly just cares about staying out of prison until he dies. I think that's his primary goal.
Yeah. Okay. But to touch on that, I want to touch on that last little bit of a conversation. Hold on 1 second.
No worries, dude. People get an exception on background noise for caring for a baby because you shouldn't be excluded from political discourse for caring for a baby. You should be excluded from political discourse for refusing to define the word open.
Okay, so to touch on that, which my baby mama actually commented on here. My thing is hold on 1 second. Give me 5 seconds. Let me see.
All right. I will just say that I'm going to keep this call short because you're a supporter and I want to get some opposition in and I've got somebody else in the queue. But the angle I'm going
outside, so he's going to deal with the kid.
Okay, I appreciate that. But I just want to be clear about where I want this conversation to go because it sounds like you don't support him anymore. But I don't think that just 25thing him or waiting for his term to expire because he's old and ailing is good enough. I think what he's doing is really unconstitutional and we can't allow there to be a precedent that Republican presidents don't have to follow the Constitution.
This is a fact. I personally don't think that anyone should ever. He's the only president in the entirety of the United States. Also, I'm a Marine. I'll throw that in there as well. And I served under Donald Trump, but for the first time.
Service.
But I don't think that any president should be able to do anything that benefits him or their family. That's literally against the Constitution.
You know what? I am just going to say I actually feel like we agree on too much. I don't think this is a debate because it does sound like, even though we probably have some different core ideals, sounds like you're anti-Trump because Trump is doing a bunch of bad shit, and the whole show is about trying to convince people of that. So I appreciate you hopping up, but if you want to
I do want to say one thing about
10 seconds. Get your piece in, and then I'll move on to the next caller. Go ahead.
I mean, the borders are never fully open and they've never been fully closed. There's always a key to get through the door. You just have to have the right one. I don't understand why people think that there's a hard line one way or the other.
All right, yeah. On that note, I'll agree with you. I'll say I don't think that saying it's fully open or fully closed is right, and I could have had a conversation with that with the previous guest if he was willing to just even address what he had actually said. But we're going to talk to I'm 222 Trash, and we're going to see if they're 222 Trash to be on my show. Maybe I want Trash on my show. Maybe that's good for the show. How old are you?
We are Charlie Kirk.
We are Charlie Kirk. You didn't quite get the lift at the end there. Anyway, MM2EZ. We're gonna see if he is gonna do something other than singing in my ears.
Hello.
Hello. How old are you?
Oh, I'm 19.
19. I'll take it. You support Trump?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's a neo-libertarian phalangus.
Dude, the Libertarians have been out to get me. And I also don't believe that he was 19, both because of his voice and his behavior. Queue's empty, so that's it, everybody. I have defeated all of the Trump supporters for this particular Sunday. There's no more. Maybe we're gonna go to friendly times sooner rather than later. But no, I will urge everybody. We've got almost 100,000 likes, which is a lot for just an hour into the show. This has been a pretty big show, so thanks everybody for that. Thanks for the 200 of you who have shown up and followed me since the beginning of the stream. Those are big numbers for a show. So thanks everybody. But I am gonna crack the whip and say get to work on double tapping the screen so we can get some fresh callers in here. Light up the chat with all sorts of nonsense. Now it's free time. There's nobody here. Say all sorts of crazy stuff. Blah 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 blah. What is my viewership record? 536, I think. I think we already broke that today. I'll see after the fact if we broke that today. I actually don't pay much attention to it while I have a caller because I really got to focus on there. Colson says, y'all liberals losing life. Dude, please tell me why you think that. Hit the request button on your screen, which while there isn't a caller is just down here to the right of the comment section. It's a pink and blue head. If you click on that, it'll get you requested in to talk to me. And you can tell us why we're... whatever it is you just said. I don't even remember it. Weeb is working on a whip right now. I have considered working on a whip. I have this big box of leather scraps for like making wallets and holsters and stuff for like tools. It's like a hobby I have. I've been thinking about weaving a whip because be fun. I want to like cut a cigarette in half or something. Anyway, iced toaster bath. Very, very ad-libbed username. I'm going to see if this is going to be a good debate. How old are you?
5.
Say that again.
35.
35. I'm going to turn you up. I think you're a little quiet for the audience if you can improve that. 35. You support Trump?
No.
Oh, goodbye. Looking for Trump supporters for now. Do appreciate you calling in. And we do a friendly time at the end of the show if you want to chat. We're going to talk to Deebs McGee. Ooh, and I should turn my headphones down so I don't get blasted. Okay, there we go. How old are you? Hello? 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 You're teacupped already. There's white noise. Can you hear me? Are you there? You're not there. Ooh, and somebody just went in and out of the queue. All right, everybody, back to blowing up the chat. We gotta get more debaters in here. Because I would like to have... I'm just gonna ban the dude who's saying, like, I don't want neo-libertarian phalangism to like become a meme that plagues the show. Like, you're just banned for I'm just gonna ban people for bringing that to me because, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, it's just it's not the best use of my time to sit here and argue with libertarians about definitions from the 20th century. Thank you for the hard hands, D. Or neo-libertarian phalangists who think that some particular rule from Spain in the mid 20th century is going to be like the angle that makes so libertarianism sensible or whatever. I don't know. Thank you for the cardinal. Man, I'm getting all the new gifts today. That's very flattering. Thanks, everybody. And of course, it helps the show. Scotty! I don't know. Does Scotty know what the word open means? We're going to find out if Scotty does or doesn't know. How old are you, Scotty?
I'm 20.
20. You support Trump?
Yes. I'm on the fence.
Okay, I'll take an on the fence caller. What kind of things have your attention about Trump?
Well, I liked a lot of the stuff he was talking about on the campaign trail, but it's not looking like he's delivering on a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's a few things, I was learning about demagoguery, and I'm starting to kind of think he might be a demagogue.
Yeah, so I was actually going to kind of go in that direction, especially, and I'm just going to be straightforward with you. You're 20, I'm 30, so I am going to pull the age card just a little bit, because I want to talk to you about the fact that I am old enough to remember in America where anybody who behaved anything like Trump would have their political career ended regardless of their policies. Left, right, doesn't matter. Just the way the guy speaks should be a problem in American politics. But there's been this really slow erosion of that sort of decorum. There was a time where Republicans were really, really mad at Obama because he wore a tan suit, and they thought that was unpresidential. Do you remember that scandal?
Yeah, I've learned about that. But they did the same thing to Reagan with a brown suit.
Yeah. Do you think it's important what color suit somebody wears?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, do you think it's important if the president calls a female reporter a piggy to her face?
Yeah, I think so.
It's one example, and I'm not trying to pile on. I really just want to address the fact that Trump became important to American politics a little more than 10 years ago when you were in elementary school. So in terms of you having a clear recollection of exactly how American politics is conducted, I actually have some compassion for people your age for not realizing how down a deep, dark rabbit hole we've gone in terms of accepting the sort of behavior that Trump does. because I think it's really, really concerning the way that he behaves. And my big point, the big argument that I want to give you to direct this call is that we're going to take a moment and not even talk about Trump's individual policies. We're not going to talk about Iran. We're not going to talk about the fact that he doesn't like immigrants. We're not going to talk about if his economic policies are good or bad. I think I'm perfectly prepared to talk about any one of those things. But here's the big one. The big one is that Trump doesn't follow the Constitution. And I think that if you have a president that doesn't follow the Constitution, it doesn't matter even a little bit what their policies are, because the most important thing for a president to do, the thing they swear the oath to when they take the office, the thing they put their hand on the Bible, even though Trump didn't technically touch the Bible, he basically had his fingers crossed behind his back when he swore his oath to the Constitution, to defend and uphold the Constitution. So I want to talk about Trump's constitutional violations and how, more important than any left versus right debate about what we want for the country, we just need a president who follows the Constitution before we can discuss any of that. At least that's what I think. How do you feel about everything I just said?
I 100% agree with it. You know, he promised to do, to get us out of wars, no more forever wars. And, I feel swindled by that, with the war in Iran. I'll just call it the E-files.
You can say Epstein. I'm a little looser with the TikTok flaggable words. There's certain things you can't say at all, but we can talk about Epstein. We can talk about rapes. We can talk about murders. We can, try not to pile those words so close together as I just did. That was a little bit risky because you do get flagged for, and don't put any of those words next to the word child or kid. That'll get us flagged. So, but you can talk about these things. It's an adult show.
Yeah. He promised the Epstein files, and then, now he's completely taken the opposite stance. And really the only thing that he's kind of delivered on is the border, and that wasn't really something that I was, so I actually I'm gonna jump right in on that, because my issue with the border is that I can accept that the Republican presidents are going to want to have stricter border policy and stricter immigration policy, and the Democrats are going to want looser immigration policy. But I'm just going to fall back to this thing about how it's different if the president doesn't follow the Constitution, because Trump has not accomplished anything with the border through policy, through the things that he's allowed to do as president. He has violated people's civil rights, which is a violation of the Constitution. So again, it just falls back to my greater argument about Trump, which is that I don't care, it's less important what the border policy is than it is that we enforce it following the Constitution. The fact that people's constitutional rights and natural human rights are being violated in furtherance of his goals around the border. It's great for people who don't want immigration that Trump has lowered the rate of illegal immigration, but it's bad for everybody that he has done it by violating the Constitution. So again, you brought up a bunch of things. You brought up Iran, you brought up the immigration, but just first things first, we cannot support an administration that doesn't obey the Constitution, because you get to live the free life that you get to live because of the Constitution, and that's just so much more important than all the rest of this stuff. Yeah, I agree with that. I've always kind of had a little bit of an unorthodox stance on immigration, because I can't really think of the word. I want.
Describe it. Maybe I can help you find it.
I love immigration. I think we need a diverse country. And I think it's a great thing. I don't think we should just let anybody come in. I think there needs to be some sort of system. But, I think it's a great thing. So...
Yeah, well, I'll jump in and I'll say I think that accepting people who follow the process in to become Americans is kind of what America's all about. It's what it says on the foot. It's what it says on the foot of the Statue of Liberty, to bring us your tired, huddled, weary masses, people who can come and find a better life here and contribute to the system and make it better. The problem that Democrats will point out is that the system for getting in is quite broken at the moment. It's very, very difficult to use. It's very unfair. It's very uncertain. You can get on a list, and is it going to be 2 years or 20 years before you're done? You're hungry today, right? You want a job today. You want to be able to start your American dream, start living your life. So I agree with you on all of that. But again, I don't think we can make any improvements to this this process, this legal system that we're trying to make better so that you and I can get what we want, which is a healthy immigration situation in America that helps America succeed, that helps the GDP, that helps diversity. You know, I live in a place where there's lots of immigrants, and I get to eat like a diverse palette of food because I can go for a walk down Nicollet Avenue where Alex Preddy was murdered, and I can go try the Cajun Grill that opened kitty corner to the place where I can get a bagel that I like because I'm from New York. And if I want a New York bagel, it's across the street from the Cajun place, which is up the street from the Ethiopian place, which is up the street from Marhaba Grill, where I can get really good Ethiopian food. There's all this stuff I love about all of it, and that's great. But I'm just going to keep pressing back to you, caller, and say, sounds like we agree about a bunch of stuff. We might not agree on everything, but if you're on the fence about Trump, the question just comes back to the fact that he doesn't follow the Constitution, and that's really, really dangerous for all these things that we care about, for all these people that are following the law.
You know, I really, you know, while they're very flawed on a lot of things, I agree with the founding fathers on a whole bunch of things, and the big thing is, you know, their stance on immigration. You know, I was never one to, you know, think that English should be the national language because, you know, it's like, I think making it the national language is kind of like a violation of freedom of expression. And
well, I think that for a functional purpose, we do need the country to have some kind of like national, like the street signs need to be in a particular language. Here's an example of where maybe we can assess whether or not we agree on that. I think it's reasonable that you don't need to speak English in order to have a driver's license, because the important things about driving down the road are displayed by the color and shape of the sign. If a sign is red and has 8 sides, what type of sign is that?
I wouldn't know. I don't drive.
Okay, you don't drive, but people know that to be a stop sign. If a sign is a triangle that's white with a red border,
of course,
stop sign, right? If you're not a driver, that stuff isn't super obvious. But if you're a driver, you have to know that a white triangle with a red border, that's a yield sign. It'll never be anything but a yield sign. You don't need to know the English word yield. You don't need to be able to read to tell that it means yield. You just have to understand what it means to yield. Direction signs are always green. Landmark signs are always brown. There's these color coding things that a person who doesn't speak English can learn and make them a safe driver in America. But we don't allow people who don't speak English to get commercial driver's licenses, because you need to be able to understand some more specific information that's on the signs to drive a big truck, for example. I think that's reasonable. So it sounds like we agree about all that, but you say that you're on the fence about Trump, and of course he's not eligible to run again unless he violates the Constitution and runs again. But I think there's this implicit thing that we can maybe just speak about for a moment, which is that we're talking about whether or not you're going to vote for somebody who supported Trump next, or you're going to vote for somebody who didn't support Trump next. I think that's the question for 2028 for you, right? So I will just keep bringing it back. Do you think you should vote for somebody who supported a president who violated the Constitution a lot?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And I was honestly thinking about voting blue around for the midterms because, I feel like it's, I feel like it's more, you got older people on the conservative side who, they support the war in Iran and they support Israel, and it's something that I'm totally against. And I look at the left, I look at, the Democrats, and they are more unified. You got older people on the Democrats who are, at the least, they don't like Benjamin Netanyahu. Most of them are anti-war, and I think the war is just a terrible thing.
I think that my claim and the reason why I'm excited to hear you thinking this way is that I think that it's right now, if we look at blue politicians, both elected politicians and the candidates, people who are running in the midterms and maybe people who want to run for president in 2028, what you'll find is that they really recognize what I'm talking about, that above all else, you have to follow the Constitution, and then after that, we can talk about policy. So, again, the minutia to me is like not always all that important. I spend a lot of time talking about it on this show, but at the core of it, I'd love to go back to a place where Republicans and Democrats can argue about border policy with the presupposition everybody agrees that we have to follow the Constitution. And I do think that voting blue in the midterms is a path towards that. Because if we vote blue in the midterms, we're going to get candidates in the legislative branch in Congress who are going to impeach Trump for his unconstitutional things that he's done. And that would immediately make J.D. Vance president, which I'm not excited about. But what I am excited about, what would be really exciting, is if we had a Republican president, J.D. Vance, who knows he has to follow the Constitution or Congress is going to impeach him. If we could operate within that framework, I'm okay with whatever the Republicans want to try to do with the rest of their term, as long as they follow the law. I think.
Well, how do you think we get back to that culturally?
What I'm trying to do in order to get back to that culturally, because that's a very, very good question. We've got a real problem with people who have maybe gotten used to the idea of the president not following the Constitution. What I'm personally doing is that every day from 10 to 12 Central Standard Time, I run a show where I talk to people who don't agree with me about this stuff, and I try to change their minds about just what we're talking about. And lots of people listen. And right now, my reach on Instagram it just crossed 3 million accounts a month. So I'm pretty excited that lots of people are listening to Oscar's thoughts on the Constitution and on politics. Yeah, thank you. It's a big deal.
I just want to say,
huge that I get to do this.
I think this debate style is so much more. I think it's way better than what Dean Withers and Parker Gets a Job does. I think
they have their place.
Kind of dishonest.
Everybody has to balance how entertaining they're going to be versus how educational they're going to be. Because you may have noticed that we've lost some viewership while I've been talking to you, but undeniably, this conversation that I'm having with you is a more important one than the guy who was yelling about me asking him to define the word open, or the first caller who was just yelling for no reason at all. It's fine that I see other hosts who maybe crank up the entertainment value and then they're not as productive and educational. But Dean Withers has 5 million followers on TikTok. I'm probably not going to get 5 million followers on TikTok with this strategy, because there's a ceiling on how big I can be and how profitable this show can be if I'm not that entertaining, if I don't sacrifice more of my academic, intellectual, and journalistic integrity in order to be entertaining enough for that many people to follow me. So I sit somewhere else on the spectrum. And then you have people who only do education, which is really boring and nobody watches. So sorry to those guys, but if you're doing a live stream where all you do is lecture about the Constitution, you're going to have 5 people watching. So I'm trying to balance it, and I really appreciate that you see the value in how I've tried to balance it. But I'm okay sitting in a different place on the spectrum than somebody like Dean or Parker. I'm not going to trash on them for that, because the fact of the matter is they are doing good. Even if that good is that because they have such an enormous following, they can get people interested in the debate space. And maybe that becomes a person who's going to go find the Oskar Quentin live and like really get into these nitty gritty friendly conversations that maybe Dean wouldn't allow on his show because it's bad for his 20,000 concurrent viewership, which I can respect. Yeah. He's doing a different thing than I'm doing. So that's what you asked, what do we do culturally? And I think that Dean has an important role. I think I have an important role. I'm very honored that the space has accepted me and my role is growing. There's politicians who follow me on Instagram and repost my videos. There's like important players in this thing who now use my talking points. Like, I'm very excited that I'm able to make a difference, and I really appreciate that you recognize that. But I don't think that we should talk too much about who's doing it right. It's just that there's going to be different roles in this thing. So that's what I'm doing culturally. I'm trying to get people to understand what's important to the functioning of the democracy in America.
And like you said, I was in elementary school when, he became president. I think I was like 4th grade. Yeah. So, a lot of people around my age, we were used to this. And it's like a treadmill almost, because we're going to grow up used to this. And the people who are not used to this, they're just going to get older and they're going to have less influence eventually.
You're 20. Have you ever met, like, you have a friend who has a partner they shouldn't be with, like a girl who's got a boyfriend that's really bad, or vice versa, something like that?
Yeah.
Can you see the parallels where maybe they get used to that bad behavior and it doesn't taste as bad, you know, when they do something bad because they're just so used to it?
Yeah, I agree with that.
The analogy works. Do you think that those people are hopeless? Do you think that they're always going to have an abusive boyfriend?
No.
Yeah. They can be taught that life doesn't have to be like this. You know, we don't need to have a president who calls women reporters piggies, but is nicer to male reporters. We don't have to have a president who's constantly fighting the law, constantly getting sued for doing illegal things. We don't have to have that. But I do have compassion for people who've been fooled by it in just the same way as I hope you have compassion for your friends who are with partners who are abusive of them.
Yeah.
I have room for that. Now, if you're sycophantic and you know that what you're doing is bad, that's different. I don't think I'm talking to an evil caller. I have lots of evil callers who don't like women or don't like minorities or don't like poor people or don't think poor people should vote. I have lots of callers who really genuinely have some evil ideologies that make them want to vote for Trump. But I think most people who voted for him have just been fooled into thinking it's good for them, just like your friends have been fooled into thinking they should stay with that guy because he's going to change or he's going to make my life good or he has such a good job. He's going to afford the type of life we want. This is a good path for me. Whatever excuses they make, I have compassion for people who make those sorts of excuses because psychologically I understand that they think that they're right and they think that they're looking out for their own best interests because it is so hard to admit that you've been wrong about someone you care so much about, which is why some people that are older than you who have believed in Trump for 10 years of their time as voting adults. You don't have 10 years as a voting adult. You only have a couple years. I'm not even sure if you're old enough to have voted the last time.
I did.
Okay. Yeah, that was your first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your political identity isn't as tied up in it as a lot of people's are. So when I talk to somebody your age, I have a greater opportunity to say, hey, look at your friends who are dating abusive partners and don't be like them. Pick your partners more wisely. And you can do the same thing looking at the Trump supporters who've supported him for 10 years and call in and get caught in this rabbit hole where somehow by the end of the conversation, they're defending rape.
Yeah. It's... Yeah. You know, I looked into John McCain, and you know, I saw that he a while back I saw that he during the 2008 election he told someone who was talking about how Obama was an immigrant from Kenya. He told them that it's not true and that he's we just have a difference in opinion. And that was, you know, very, very culturally shocking to me.
That McCain told the truth, which was maybe a little bit against the grain?
Yeah, he defended Obama, which I thought that was I thought it was a great thing. I thought it...
Honorable.
It was very honorable, yeah.
Yeah. You got to just, and we can, just the same as I can say the Constitution is more important than any particular policy. If we're going to have a discussion about politics, if we're going to talk about issues of policy, if we're going to talk about who we want to vote for, the most important thing is truth, right? Like, it might benefit your chances of election if you say that Obama wasn't born here, but the fact is he was, and you just have to operate with truth, or you end up in this sort of situation where, because truth doesn't matter to the electorate, because truth doesn't matter to Fox News, because truth matters less and less by day with all the other news stations, suddenly it's socially acceptable to say all this nonsense. We should have listened to McCain. We should have recognized what McCain understood about American politics, which is that you doom yourself. You doom yourself to become the clown if you accept a bad argument that supports your side. I don't accept bad arguments that support blue ideologies. There's lots of things that people on the left say that I think are terrible, terrible arguments because they're seated in bad reasoning or seated based on something that isn't true or something that isn't proven. I don't go around saying that the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting was faked. I don't have proof that it was. How could I? How dare I do such a thing to my audience who come here and trust what I say because I really scrutinize the things I say on this show. It'd be so wrong for me to do otherwise, just like it would be so wrong for McCain to believe the birther conspiracies about Obama. So me and McCain I can say was a patriot. He and I disagreed ideologically in the sort of way I said at the beginning of the call is acceptable. McCain believed in the Constitution. He believed in truth. For the most part. I'm sure people can find some examples that prove me wrong about that because he was a Republican, so I can't co-sign everything the guy ever said. But I do believe he was a patriot. I think Mitt Romney was a patriot when he was running against Obama for the most part. I think Bush was a patriot. I think Bush made some big mistakes as president, but I do think he wanted to follow the Constitution, and that's just what we need to get back to. So if you're going to be a single issue voter, which you might maybe have to be in a partisan system, that single issue right now is the Constitution, because one side follows it and the other side doesn't.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And I will extend that to voting for seats other than the president, because Trump wouldn't be president if the Republicans in Congress followed the Constitution and impeached him for any of the many impeachable things that he's done.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that. And, I got to get off of here, but I appreciate talking to you. Maybe we can have another debate. But I'm gonna shoot you a follow because I really like this debate style you have.
Appreciate you, and you're welcome back anytime. These are less snappy conversations. They're not as good for the gram or whatever, but they're the reasons I run the show. So I'm happy to tank my viewership to have a conversation with somebody like yourself.
Well, I try to get into a Parker's live, and I did, but I got kicked immediately because.
Well,
I don't know why.
Yeah, and maybe I'd feel differently if 10,000 people were watching and the number was going to 5,000 instead of 500 people watching. And we'll see. We'll see the type of grifter I end up as I keep growing. But I'm going to try to keep it real on the Oskar Quentin Show, and I care a lot about these sorts of conversations. So I hope that if I have a bigger audience, I'll take it on the chin when that audience decreases, because I'm having an actually productive conversation. I think that's what's important, and that's why I'm excited about the success I'm having, because I get to do that more.
One last thing, what do you think the average American can do to combat this?
You should not allow people in your life to speak things that are not true. And if they're not interested in discussing with you what true is before they get to policy, then you should tell them straightforwardly that you can't discuss with them until they are willing to talk about what's true. I think we all have a responsibility to take less bullshit in our life, and I'm trying to teach people the tools that they need to have those conversations in their lives, because I convinced a lot of people that Trump was a problem before I started debate hosting, just people in my life. And it's one of the things that inspired me to do this. And I think everybody has a little bit of civic duty to hear something wrong and go, that's wrong. If you're not going to have a serious conversation with me about where you heard that or why you think it's true, then we can't discuss politics. And I'm not interested in hearing your political beliefs. I think that's important.
Okay, thank you. And I agree with that entirely.
I'm glad. Yeah.
All right. I appreciate talking to you, man.
I appreciate talking to you too, man. All right, he left. How lovely. How lovely. Now we're going to talk to, well, I guess I'll give a moment to say thanks for everybody who stuck around for maybe a less entertaining but more productive conversation. And I'll ask that if you think it's important what I'm doing here, which maybe you do if you're still here, you can go to the link tree in my bio and follow me on the other platforms. The show gets uploaded 2 hours every day to YouTube, so you can listen to me as a podcast, or you can follow me on Instagram, which is my primary platform, where it's actually my social media that I use. Message me there if you want to get in touch with me. That's a little bit better than TikTok, though I do eventually read through the TikTok messages. And if you want to support the show directly, you can. There are ways to make it so that it's okay that I'm quitting my job, because the chat keeps asking. I've technically quit my job, sort of. I'm still on the schedule, and I'm just not going to talk about it until I've done my last day. But one of my 2 jobs, my day job, is over for me. Cannot believe I made it this far without actually getting fired for being as noteworthy as I am in the scene I sit in. Anyway, we have really seen the spectrum today, haven't we? I'm gonna have to come up with a thumbnail for the YouTube version of today's show that says it was the best of the callers, the worst of the callers, because we've had both today. But no, W's for that guest in the chat, because that guest is exactly who I hope calls in every day.
Would you rather be a tongue Sahor accelerationist or?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna let him finish his question. No more of that. No more of that whatsoever. That guy had to talk fast because he knew I was going to kick him. But I don't have any callers. Is it friendly time? It is kind of friendly time. It's 11:32, so maybe the 250 of us who made it this far can hang out. Oh man, I feel emotional a little bit. That was one of those conversations where I was like, oh my god, it worked. This approach of hey dude, sorry for dad mogging you by being I'm older than you, young man. I remember a time in American college, blah, 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 blah. No, I think that guy understood that that he grew up in a time such that he doesn't have a very clear perspective on how American politics works, because there's something very unique happening right now. And he brought up McCain, which is interesting because, like, it's not just Trump's fault. You know, this process of, like, the Republicans being willing to lie behind the lectern, being willing to lie when they were talking head on TV, that had been going on for years. That's an older problem than Trump. Oh, good. That person's already blocked. The mod W in the chat for the mods. The mods are really the ones making it happen. Gosh, I'm so, like, mentally tongue-tied by the fact that call was productive that I'm, like, not doing a good job running the show. So if we could all get double tapping away on the screen, that might get a fresh caller in here, because I would love to have if there's no friendlies you want to come up and chat, you know, and shoot the shit, then I would love to have another like, more productive call. Debate anyway. Levi Moody 01. I feel like I remember that username. Is that from today or from the past? I can never keep it straight. Too many usernames. My brain doesn't store them. How old are you?
Hey man, I'm 19.
19. Have we spoken before? You sound familiar.
Spoken. I've been in the comments a bunch.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. You a Trump supporter?
No, man.
Well, it's friendly time, so we can chat. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. No, I've been hearing you talking about ranked choice voting, so I looked up what that is. And I was wondering if you want to go more towards that or closer to what I guess Germany has, where you have multiple parties and they work together to put up one guy.
Well, what are you barking about? Pardon the dog noise. I have an alert dog, which actually makes me feel safe because I get lots of death threats. Anyway, so was your first question how ranked choice voting works?
No, I looked up that. I figured out how that works.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just going to explain it quickly for the audience because, you know, we're trying to have everybody listen. But just like in short, if you don't know how ranked choice voting works, the idea is that if you have two candidates, but neither of them get 50%, in an election, the idea is if somebody gets more than 50%, it's a normal election and they won. But if you have one candidate get 40%, another candidate get 40%, nobody wins. So what you do is you go to the 20% who didn't get their candidate to be one of the front runners, and you look at their second choice, because when they voted, they were able to put a second option, and their second option might be one of those people that got 40% of the vote, and you give their votes to one of those two other candidates so that their vote still counts. And you do that, and you go down the list of the remaining voters who didn't get their candidate into the finals until you have a winner, and it just mathematically works out that eventually somebody has to win, assuming that everybody like follows the process. And it works great because you can vote for a third-party candidate who isn't likely to win, but you're not throwing your vote away because you get to put your second option, one of the two frontrunners that you'd prefer. Ranked choice voting basically makes it so that fewer people are upset about the winner of an election. And you don't have situations like we had in 2016 where so many people wanted Bernie to become president that they felt bummed that he lost against Hillary, so they didn't vote at all. And then Hillary lost to Trump for that among other reasons. So that's just one example of how ranked choice voting could help the presidency. But we have ranked choice voting in places like New York. Mamdani was elected with ranked choice voting, and I live in Minneapolis, and I didn't vote for him. I voted for two other people because I wanted somebody other than Mayor Fry, but he did win in a ranked choice system, and that's, you know, that is the will of the people. So that's ranked choice, and I just think it'd be better it would help, you know, with the partisan situation that we're in, that people would actually be able to promote third-party ideologies if we gave them that type of vote.
Right. So is that like your final goal? Is that what you want to end up with, or do you want to end up with like a true like multi-party system where you can actually have a chance as a third party?
I think that given the scale of the country and the way that our federal government works generally, it's always going to come down to it being one or the other guy, like at, you know, the final round. I could see us having a third-party candidate who gets a greater share. I could see a situation where it's like a Republican versus a Democrat. Sorry, say what you're saying?
I completely understand it's not likely right now or even soon, but I want to know what you want to work towards.
Well, I think that ranked choice voting allows multiple different types of outcomes. It could stay rather partisan, and maybe the ranked choice just makes people feel happier about the candidate they got. Maybe if we had ranked choice, everybody who didn't want Biden to be the candidate would have added up their votes, and we would have had a different Democratic president in 2020 because all the people who didn't want Biden could have teamed up and voted for some other second party, and that would have been fixed by ranked choice voting. That's a possibility. Another possibility is a situation where you have, like, say, a Republican, and then instead of a Republican versus a Democrat, it's a Democrat and an independent, but maybe the Democrat's winning or maybe the independent is winning, but the people still get to fight about which it is because they're not throwing their vote away by voting for one or the other if that person's not going to be the second place candidate. You could have a situation where the Republican gets 48% of the vote, and then between two candidates you get 52% of the vote, even if both of them only got 26% of the vote, but whoever had slightly more wins because everybody who voted for candidate B put candidate C as their second, and everybody who voted for candidate C put candidate B as their second, and that's just better. That just results in more people happy with the outcome of the election, because more people get their second choice instead of ending up with their third choice, which is what most people would have in that situation if we just went by majority and the Republican in that example wins.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
And I would argue ranked choice voting is good at every level. There's people in the chat asking about the primaries and asking about other positions in the government. I think this is an improvement to the system pretty much across the board. I'd be hard pressed to come up with a counterexample, though I would entertain one if somebody felt they had one.
I can't think of anything.
Say that again?
I can't think of anything. I'm kind of here to learn a lot.
No, yeah, that's fine. So, I mean, those are my thoughts. I think that a lot of the goals we have, a lot of these like stuck situations we're in, where maybe there's a democratic approach to American politics that goes a little against the grain of the Democratic Party that could become more popular. Maybe it's a more popular movement. I will admit, I am kind of talking about my own little democratic socialist neighborhood. I'm talking about people like AOC and Bernie Sanders who have been doing well in American politics, but never took the main stage. I think they have a chance to, but because they're seen as an other compared to the regular Democrats, they're just never going to get enough critical mass to be taken seriously in larger elections. And I think that ranked choice voting is if you have any third party concept, even if it's just a single issue that you care about, it's never going to make it to the main stage in our bipartisan system unless we get ranked choice voting. It's the only practical path forward, other than like very extremist options of like changing the Constitution or like changing the way the government works. We don't have to change the way the government works all that much. We just have to change our election rules a little bit. All the roles can stay the same for us to achieve third party ideas in government, which I think is valuable. Because there are some things I don't like if we list the things where like Republicans believe this and Democrats believe that, there's like a couple that where I think the right answer is either not answered properly by either group, or like there are like some potentially socially liberal but politically conservative things that the Republicans believe in that I think are like a little bit reasonable. But there's no place for any of that discussion because they're such small issues that we have to talk about things like abortion and education and war and immigration, all this other stuff.
Yeah, in our current way it works, it just doesn't work out.
Well, right. It's like if you
it gets lost in the noise.
Yeah, it gets lost in the noise because you have to pick a team, whereas you don't necessarily have to pick one of two teams if we have ranked choice voting. And I just think that's going to be important for everybody getting that. The math says that ranked choice voting will always result in a situation where the voters are happier with the outcome on average.
Right. Because then they at least looked at the other people and they said, I don't want them first, but maybe I'll take them second. And then they might get closer to what they wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You end up with your second choice instead of your third, and your second choice is probably a lot more like your first choice than your third, than the third is. Or however it works out. It's going to be different.
It also seems like it forces you to be a little more educated on who you're looking at.
Yeah. Well, because I will admit that right now it's not very nuanced who you should vote for. We got to vote blue and get these fucking fascists out of the government. Like that's the only thing right now. And I literally argue on this show that it's silly to go around promoting independent ideologies, all these socialists and Marxists and like actual philosophical democratic socialists who are even more extreme than people like myself or Bernie Sanders or AOC. Like, great, I can agree with you guys on some stuff ideologically, but you're fucking wasting your time because the system is designed in a way that makes it so that you're never going to win anything. So like it's just you're not helping by voting for these other parties, where we could at least entertain those ideas and have them grow on their own, even if it's decades before they win a big election. And I'm okay with that. I want that. I don't want it to be so simple and black and white, but it is until we have a system that does anything other than respect the black and white.
Like some of the stuff is important, yes, but there's more pressing stuff because the president I don't know what I can say about him without getting kicked off because I have very strong words to say.
Yeah, you got to be careful on TikTok Live. It's always tough. Maybe you can navigate around it, but me and some of the other debate hosts are talking about creating a guide for how to talk on TikTok Live about politics without getting banned, because it is hard.
Like yes, he's evil in a sense that I can't put into words. He was mentioned 1 million times in the files. Like that should be the biggest thing. It doesn't matter. Like there are so many individual things that should be enough, right? And that's like one of the frustrating things about the situation we're in. It's like people ask me, "Oh, why do you think Trump should be kicked out of office?" I'm like, literally 30 or 40 different reasons. Yeah.
Some of them are like small change compared to things like the Epstein files or the war or him, doing executive orders that seek to change the interpretation of the Constitution, or just like other, there's like, those are the big ones, but there's like a bunch of every week there's something new. This deal with the IRS was egregiously illegal.
Oh my gosh, that's pissing me off a lot. Yeah, because he made a deal with himself to make it so that he can't be prosecuted.
It wasn't even an in-court settlement, like he pulled out of the lawsuit and then made that deal with them privately, but it's the IRS that's controlled by his government. People call into my show and say it's not illegal, and I'm like, go watch Legal Eagle's video. Legal Eagle is mad. Like
he should be mad about that.
Yeah, because he knows how to read. He's good at the law. It's egregious. But unless you've got anything else, I'm going to move on to the next one because I've got some people in the queue.
Let me go.
Appreciate you, dude. Thanks for hopping up. We're going to talk to JB Dubay. Friend or foe, we shall see. After we find out how old they are. JB, how old are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm 68 years old. I was born in the last century, so...
Hey, I was too.
That's funny. As you were saying, we've seen politics that I've never seen anything like we have now. There's been a time in this country when politics was boring. It's about the business of the country. And this recent administration has turned it into, an MMA or...
clown show.
Professional wrestling sort of a thing, or like NFL. It's go team go, and politics is it sucks, brother. Only the interested participate, and it takes a long time and a lot of work to get real stuff done. And these people have flooded the zone to the point where you can't keep up with the nonsense. You were just discussing the IRS, let's give money to these criminals from Jan 6. January 6th should have been the end of all of this.
Well, I mean, and you've hit on something that I actually struggle with as somebody whose job it is currently to understand this stuff. You could give me a piece of paper and lock me in a room for 12 hours and say, write down on this piece of paper every reason that Trump should be impeached. And I don't think I'd get half of them. Not because I would run out of paper. Even if you gave me more paper, I just genuinely don't think sitting in a chair I would actually be able to recall every single impeachable offense he's done, because there's so much. It's just a mountain. It's just a blitzkrieg of what unconstitutional things did Trump do this month, last month, the month before? You could write a book about this stuff. People will, yeah. It's crazy. It's craziness. But we're getting to this really fast part of the curve where for years and years and years, more than a decade, the Republicans have been slowly whittling away, eroding at the decorum and saying, it's okay if we do these wrong things. It's okay as long as the Supreme Court allows it. It's okay as long as Congress doesn't impeach you. We saw that during Trump's first term where he got impeached twice, but not convicted because the Republicans voted with him and the Democrats voted against him, which suggests that nobody's following the Constitution. But that keeps happening, and now we're at the point where the curve has gotten fast. They are accelerating the degree to which they are doing horrible unconstitutional things that people are just okay with for some reason, and it's because we're desensitized to it. Trump does bad shit every week. Why do we care? Well, we should care more and more every week, if you ask me.
Yeah. It boils down to, yes, there are a million things that would be the reason to say stop, or for everybody to say stop. But the number one is the constitutional issues. If it's we've never had anybody that it's one thing to push on the Constitution. It's another to put it under the tracks of a tank and just run through it rampant. And we see that all the time. And I have been around so long, everybody knew who Donald Trump was in the 80s and the 90s.
I'm a New Yorker. He was a local celebrity when I was growing up.
Yes, and by celebrity, we don't mean famous. Well, it is famous, but it was infamous. He is known as a creep.
A creep, a crook, a mean TV personality, you know?
We knew that. He was famous, but it was infamous. He made guest appearances on TV. The Apprentice was a thing. From the Trump family aspect was a Hail Mary. Because if it wasn't for that format, nobody would appreciate his business prowess doesn't really exist. As you said, you're a New Yorker. I'm from the West Coast, born and raised in California. Sorry, you don't like that, but it's a beautiful state and I love it.
See, but all the West versus East Coast drama seems like such small change now, doesn't it?
Small change, doesn't it? Speaking of drama, there's a million reasons why we should be out of it, but I want to throw something out. I appreciate your show. I watch you all the time, and I really like the calm aspect of, hey, let's talk about this. We used to be able to talk about this. I have family and friends that don't think like I do. They think of themselves first, but not in a completely selfish way, and don't care about all of us. But we've always had, up till now, presidents that care about all of us. Not just the base. Sure, they have in the past have pushed for their own agenda, but never the hate, discontent, and malicious, lawless approach to things. And I want to.
Well, and I don't know if you saw the beginning of today's show because it was 2 hours ago, but I had 2 callers at the start today where, like, the issue we ran into is that they weren't able to have a conversation with me. Literally, one of them, we couldn't agree on what the word open meant.
Yeah, I was with you.
Yeah, and that kind of gets to what you're talking about, which is like, really, dude, we can't even just establish the definition of the word open to have an honest conversation about whether anybody opened the border or closed it or whatever. Like, we just can't even talk about this stuff without you crashing out and name calling and saying that I'm trying to manipulate you. Like, if those are the tactics you need to employ to have a conversation about this stuff, I don't know, man, looking like maybe you're on the wrong side of it. If you're so afraid of any nuanced discussion about anything, like who looks worse, me or that guy? You know, I always say the audience can judge, right?
And your anger level shows, are you winning? Or is this do you feel like we're winning? Why are you so mad? You know, when you get mad, sometimes, well, people's emotional control is off the hook, and you can thank Donald Trump for that. He encourages that sort of, I don't want to listen to reason. What I'm saying is right, and I'll laugh at whatever your opinion is. So that's encouraged by this administration. I want to propose something to you, and it's only something that's been on my mind for a little while, especially since this correspondence dinner that Donald Trump wasn't welcome at and has never been to before. But the events that took place there and these other attempts, you know, Donald Trump is the kind of man that will slander and prosecute legally and say terrible things about senators who will say, hey, please, if you're in the military, don't follow illegal orders. He will, and what's her name, the Cheney, you know, she's rhino, and, you know, he just kills
well, yeah,
people.
and any reasonable position is seen as opposition, even if it's something so, yeah, exactly.
Right. I want to propose, why don't we get, you'd think, someone that, these are people that just hurt his feelings. imagine what a person like that, a petty person, would actually do if someone physically attempted to murder them. I don't know if I said a wrong word.
No, it's okay. We can say murder on this show. I allow it. No, it's cool. Yeah, no. We love the TikTok shop. Everybody, don't ban me. But what I'll say about that. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to go back to a second ago, which is like there's this thing about anger where, like, if I do get angry, if I do raise my voice on the show, or if there's videos of me out there yelling my head off at ICE agents or whatever, because there's lots of content about that, like, people then say, like, oh, why are you getting so angry? And it's like, well, actually, I'm angry about the Constitution being violated. Valid crash out. Caller from earlier today was angry that I asked him to define the word open because it seemed that we disagreed on the definition of the word open. We're allowed to be angry. There's somebody in the chat saying we're not angry enough, and it's like, yeah, we can be angry. I can show my ire. I reserve it on this show for callers who really deserve it, which is why it lands more when I am mean to the guest, which I am sometimes. I'm not entirely opposed to that. They just really have to deserve it first. So once they do, I'll bring it out, and you see people like me and Alex Preddy out there showing our anger about what's going on, and I say that that's valid. There's a place for the anger, but people who have bigger platforms, and I'm thankful enough to say that I've become one of those people, is we just have to operate responsibly in terms of whether we're being angry in a way that's valid and constructive, acceptable, defensible.
A curiosity of mine is why you'd think that someone who attempted violence against the President of the United States would be keel-hauled, would be that he would go after their family, their friends, their job, their whatever. But if this is all legit, they don't seem to follow up very much on the persecution of these people. We don't hear anything about it. If it's not staged, why is there not a deeper dive into this? Who actually is this guy that ran in there?
Yeah, well, so I'll say about the White House correspondence thing is that I think that the story is not whether or not it was staged. I think the story is simply that so many people believe it was staged, because the fact of the matter is that we have an administration that cries wolf. They say, look at this big problem, even though most of the population in this country knows that the big problem is bullshit. So I'm not God. I'm not Laplace's demon. No. I don't know the truth. I don't know what happened there. I don't know exactly every fact about it, so I have to remain agnostic. But it is a fact that many people have called bullshit. And if you have an administration that can't even be believed about an assassination attempt on the president, that's a demonstration of what the state of affairs was before the White House Correspondents' Dinner happened. And that's the bigger story for me, is the fact that people don't believe the administration, because they shouldn't. They lie all the time about bigger stuff than assassination attempts. And that's the story.
Yeah,
I can speak directly and factually about that without speculating as to whether or not it was staged or not, because that's just not actually important to the bigger problem here, which is that people don't have faith in the administration.
Right, but wouldn't you think he would go deeper after these people, because he goes so crazy for people that have rational ideas that just speak the truth? What's his name? The guy that just got finished his last show on TV. He bent over backwards to persecute an entertainer, really?
Yeah.
And you don't.
He posts memes that are violent or espouse violence or promote violence. So the hypocrisy's there. It's all terrible. I mean, it's remarkable. I am going to do a song before I end the show, so I'm gonna let you go, but I'll let you say anything you want before I kick you.
I'm good. Appreciate your platform. It's nice to have a conversation with someone, and I appreciate your calm demeanor with people. And sometimes you get angry, don't we all? It's passion. We want our country.
Like I said, sometimes it's deserved.
Yeah. Thank you. Good day.
Have a good one.
Happy week.
Oh yeah, happy weekend. I hope he was going to say. I'm going to sing a song because it is the weekend, and I heard this Johnny Cash impersonator who I follow on Instagram, who I've met a couple times. Big fan of J. Ernst Kalk, the lead singer of the Church of Cash. He did Sunday Morning Coming Down, which is a Chris Christopherson song. Funny story, Chris Christopherson apparently wrote the song for Johnny Cash and then drunkenly landed a helicopter on Johnny Cash's lawn to deliver him the song.
I'm gonna get this guitar tuned really quick. So in the meantime, I will thank Charmander for sending me $5 for Noodle, and I'll take a look at the other donation platforms to make sure I don't leave anybody else out for the day. But I'm also gonna open my guitar tuner because I misplaced my tuner. It's in my apartment somewhere, but I don't know where. But I'm gonna sing Sunday Morning Coming Down because it's Sunday, and I was singing that. I'd never sang it before, but I looked up the chords, and I'm just gonna do like a lazy version of it. So we'll see how long it takes for me to find the key. But I'm gonna sing it in the key of G, even though he sang it in A flat, because that'll be a little easier for me to do by ear. Where are those lyrics? Let's see. Is it on my desk? No, it isn't. No way. No. Somebody in the chat's messing with me. All right, let me get a little more gain. Let me move the microphone farther away. And let's get rid of the sign. It's out. Oh! Ripped the sign. That happens sometimes. All right. Let's see. Recommendation for a guitar tuner app. Everybody uses Guitar Tuna. I don't really know of any other one, but I kind of don't like app tuners anyway. Oh, and we have another donation from Miss V. She says W Oscar. Thank you so much. MVP W's in the chat for Miss V, because Miss V Marie, because really carrying the donations, and it makes a huge difference to my continued ability to do this. I guess I need him for the monitoring. Anyway, that's my rough cover of Sunday Morning Coming Down. Maybe I messed it up enough that YouTube won't flag it, and I'll actually get to. And the YouTube VOD. Sorry for everybody who maybe just had that song skipped, because I have to skip songs all the time for copyright. Let's see. I'll take a look at some of the chat, even though I usually just end the show after doing the songs. Use a keyboard tool and play the note and match it. Yeah, I could do that. Anyway, $15 clip-on tuner. Yeah, I have a nice Korg clip-on tuner. That's the one that's missing. Yeah, thanks for all the W, guys. Panga ain't hear nothing. Uh-oh. No, I think somebody's hitting a blinker to this song. Appreciate you, Leah. Son says I'm doing great and loves this song. Fantastic. Yeah, lots of nice stuff in the chat. Yeah, I got to practice that one. I'd never sang it before until this morning. I think I've done it like karaoke, but maybe you guys will hear that one again after I actually get good at it. But I'll take another look at the Venmo to see if I have anybody else to thank. I do. I have Isaiah to thank. Isaiah says, "Believe in you." Say "Go Knicks" or something. Go Knicks. Even though I'm a New Yorker, but I don't follow sports, so I'm lying if I feign interest in that. Anyway, Portland says, "Love what you do, Oscar. See you soon, buddy." I'll see all of you soon. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on TikTok Live, because that's when I do the show, from 10 to 12 Central Standard Time. And hit up the link tree in the bio and follow me and all that stuff. What DAW do I suggest? I'm a broke bitch. I suggest Reaper because it's free. I'll see you guys tomorrow.